Welcome to this session of mindfulness, awareness, and compassion practice. What we'll do today, like most sessions, is go through a sequence of practices. I'll give some instruction, and then we'll have some time where we just do the practice silently. And we'll go through settling and centering, then mindfulness, then more open awareness. And we'll work with, in the compassion practice, we're going to work a little bit with self-compassion and compassion for others at the same time. I felt like it was a good thing. This session is just in early December, before the holiday, as the holiday season is getting rolling. So a lot of emotions come up around this time of year. So we'll get started, and the first part we're going to do with our eyes closed to get settled and centered. But after that, we're going to have our eyes open, first gazing downward and then gazing out. So you'll want to set up your seat or your device in a way that you're not looking directly into the screen. Kind of like that. Now I have a clear vision out, vision downward. And we're sitting because traditionally in this practice, when people work with their breathing in this way and they're lying down, they tend to fall asleep. And standing up, we tend to want to move and get going. So we're putting ourselves in neutral, and that's the sitting position. Also, we're sitting on the earth, and whether you're in a chair or on a cushion, we're going to feel like we're sinking down and connecting with the earth. So that's our sitting posture. So we'll start with the posture. First, feel your sit bones pressing into the cushion of the seat that you're on, and try to make them even so that you're not tilted to one side or the other, so that the weight is evenly distributed, and just let it sink into the seat that you're on. Now we'll look for our legs. If you're on a cushion on the floor, you'll probably already have your legs crossed in front of you. If you're in a chair, put your feet flat on the floor, about hip width apart, so that your lower legs are perpendicular to the floor, and your knees and your thighs are going straight out in that way. Now, if your legs are long or your seat is low and your knees are higher than your hips, it puts some strain on your lower back and your hips. So if that's the case, just cross your legs, your ankles in front of you, and let your knees widen out so that they're lower than your hips. That'll give you a nice solid base of your sit bones and knees lower than your hips. Now for your torso, you want to feel upright but not rigid. And so feel like your spine is upright, and you can tilt slightly left or right until your sit bones are even weight on your sit bones, and you're not tilted forward or back. We can't really say what centered feels like, but we know when it's not left or right, not front or back. So find that centered place. Now let what feels like a straight line, there's a curvature to all of our spines, but it feels like a straight line from your tailbone up to the top where your vertebrae are at the base of your neck, and feel like that line continues straight up the back of your neck and up the back of your head to the top. And what that does is it creates, your chin naturally pulls in a little bit and creates an ideal flow as we breathe in through our nostrils for the air to come in and go down into our lungs. We're going to breathe in through our nostrils. As we breathe out, if a little bit of air comes out our mouth as well, that's not a problem. And we'll get to the lip position after. But feel like that straight line from the back of the top of your head all the way down to your tailbone. Because if we tilt our head down, we get sleepy. If our chin goes up, we get spaced out. And we spend too much of our time with our chin extended forward, like we're running just to keep up with ourselves. So this pulls in very naturally and sets up a nice flow for our breathing. We're three-dimensional beings, so we have our back, but we also, for our front, feel like and you can experiment with this, I don't want you to strain too much, but feel like the center of your sternum, the center of your breastbone, comes up and forward just the tiniest bit, quarter of an inch, a centimeter, up and forward. You'll feel that it opens your chest, your shoulders come back in line with your ears, you may even feel a little pinching of your shoulder blades. That's really an ideal posture. And with our chest opened up, we have an open front, firm back, and a rather dignified position. So there's a lot of self-respect that comes just taking this posture. Now that your shoulders are in position, let your upper arms hang straight down. Swing your forearms up so that they go along your thighs, with your hands palm down on each thigh. That way you're not reaching forward or pulling back. Your jaw is relaxed, but your mouth is not hanging slack open. So let your lips be either very slightly parted or very lightly touching. And your tongue, you can either let it rest naturally, or if you'd like, let it float up and have the tip of your tongue gently rest on the upper palate just behind your front teeth. Traditionally, it's found that it lessens the flow of saliva. But it doesn't matter, don't worry about that, because if you feel like you need to swallow, we just swallow. In the same way, we want to be upright and still as much as we can in our posture, but not rigid, so that if you feel a pain or an ache, definitely move. You can shift your posture a little bit if something's falling asleep. But move with mindfulness. If you have to move, first know that you have an intention to move, then gently move, and then acknowledge that you moved. Now let's connect a little bit with our full body. Too often we're like in our heads, and our body's just the transport vehicle that takes our head around. So we want to get out of our head into our body. Let your awareness move through your body and just scan for any unnecessary tension. Anything you don't need to hold the posture, you can let go. Your face, your scalp, your jaw, just enough tension to keep your lips where they are. Your neck, again connected with the posture of extending the back in a line upward, but everything else relax around it. Your shoulders, we walk around sometimes our shoulders up towards our ears in tension and we don't realize it. Without pushing them down, just let your shoulders fall. Breathe out, let the tension melt. Our out breath is a relaxing breath, in breath is energizing. So we breathe out and the tension melts down and out of us. Chest and upper back, just enough tension to hold that sternum up just a tiny bit. Everything else relax around it. Upper arms, rib cage all around, stomach. Sometimes we're clenching, don't realize it. Just let your stomach hang there. Breathe out. Let the tension melt. Lower back, deep belly, pelvic region. Sometimes we're clenching that whole area and don't realize it. Without losing your posture, breathe out. Let go. Let the tension melt. Flow down and out of you. Hips, thighs, forearms, and hands. Breathe out. Feel your body. Let the tension melt. Knees, calves, ankles, and feet. And having connected with our whole body, let your mind rest deep in your core. Again, we're three-dimensional. And as the breath comes in and the diaphragm pushes down to pull the breath in, that whole deep belly core area expands in all directions, front to back and side to side. Feel that expansion. And as the diaphragm comes up to push the air out, it contracts. Leave your awareness deep in your core, a couple of inches below your navel, just in front of your spine. In the center of that area where there's expanding feeling and contracting as the breath goes out. So now for a couple of minutes, just let's relax into that rhythm. Be an observer. Your body will do the breathing. You don't need to control it. Just relax into the rhythm of however your body is breathing. Short or long breaths, deep or shallow. The rhythm of expanding and contracting. Like a calm day at the beach, where the surf gently runs up the beach and then back down into the ocean. Breathe in, breathe out, back down into the ocean. We'll do that for a couple of minutes. If thoughts have engaged your mind, notice how your energy moved up. Just acknowledge that that's what happens. Breathe out, sink down. As the gong fades, gently open your eyes about halfway. Look down under your eyelids, just a couple of feet in front of you, and soften your gaze. Rather than looking at something, you're just seeing the space that your body is sitting in. Awareness of your posture that you're sitting in that space on your seat. And within that space, continue to be aware of and rest your attention on that feeling, internal sensation of filling as the breath comes in, emptying as the breath goes out, deep in your core. If you get sleepy, open your eyes a little wider and look out farther. If your mind is very, very busy, pay closer attention to all the details of that movement of expanding, filling, and full, and then the transition to emptying and empty. Deep in your core. And if your mind wanders off into a daydream, be kind to yourself, just smile. That's wandering mind. And reinvigorate your posture, because often the posture degrades when that happens. Relocate your attention to your deep core and work with paying attention to expanding and contracting, filling and emptying. We'll do that for a couple of minutes. And as the gong fades, take a moment to move a little bit, to refresh yourself, refresh your posture. When you're ready, retake your posture, check the points of your body. Now let your eyes open fully and look in the way that they're naturally pointing, which will be slightly below the horizon. And soften your gaze. Open up your peripheral vision. Rather than looking at something, look as if you're seeing a landscape. Side to side, top to bottom. Open to the bigger space that you're sitting in front and all around you. We're working with an open awareness that includes all of our sense perceptions and includes our thoughts. We have thoughts, but our mind is bigger than our thoughts. It includes what we see, hear, feel, smell, taste. And the mind tends to move from one perception to another. And when it's fully absorbed in any one of them, all the others go to the background. That happens particularly with our thoughts. When we're absorbed in our thoughts in a daydream, we don't feel, see, hear, smell, or taste anything. Just like a dream at night. But as soon as it pops, we're already back, fully present. And the instruction there is to return to our posture and to the breath going out into the environment. We use the out breath to connect with openness. So breathe out, and as the breath actually dissolves and merges with the atmosphere, let your mind ride the breath out and open. With each out breath, we feel a little more openness. Letting go of the tight hold on this, opening to that. Feel your awareness being the big, spacious container of everything that's appearing within it. The five sense perceptions and the mental perception of thoughts. Use the breath to open out. We'll do that for a couple of minutes, just cultivating that open awareness. As the gong fades, move your focus from one perception to another. Visual, colors, shapes, shades of light and dark. Notice if labels, thoughts attach themselves. Door, table, bookshelf. Shift your attention to sounds, high and low pitched, near and far, loud and soft. My voice coming through the device. Sounds outside. Again, do thoughts arise as labels? And then elaborate further. Just look at that. Car, dog. Wind. Blowing leaves in a tree. Shift your attention to bodily sensations. Your weight on the seat, feet pressing into the floor, air on the skin of your hands and face, cool, dry air coming into your nostrils, warm, moist air going out. Maybe even feel your heart beating. Again, notice if thoughts as labels arise, and then elaborate themselves. what we see, all the colors, shapes, shades of light and dark, they're coming in through our eyes, sounds coming in through our ears, physical sensations coming in to our mind from our body. Now observe the thoughts that your mind itself is generating. Thoughts are coming into our mind. Into the space of our mind. Watch how they appear and disappear. When we watch the thoughts appear and disappear in our mind from a bigger perspective, they're not quite as solid as we usually experience them. Next, we're going to work a little bit with our feelings and emotions so you can reinvigorate your posture. And to begin with, look out. Raise your gaze all the way to the horizon or a little above. And if you can see the sky, your awareness extends out to the sky. If you can't, you can imagine the sky. You've seen it. Imagine your awareness as big as the sky and all the beings on the earth share that same sky. Different places, but the same sky. The ground we're walking on, all beings on this planet share that same earth. They may live in rivers or oceans, but the rivers and oceans are on this same earth. The air that's breathed, different places, different quality, but it's the same atmosphere all around the earth. So we're all sharing this particular planet. And all the living beings on this planet share the experience of wanting to survive, wanting to have peace in body and mind, wanting to be safe, wanting to be free of suffering, of mental anguish and physical pain. We all share that. So compassion is the feeling of wishing for ourselves and others, all beings, to be free from suffering and the causes of suffering, which include the mental anguish of anger, hate, and hatred, greed and poverty, jealousy and pride, ignorance and denial. All of those poisonous emotions cause so much suffering. So you can do this with your eyes open or closed, whichever you'd like. Arouse the wish from your heart. We all have capacity for compassion in our heart. The wish that, ourselves included, beings be free from so much suffering and these poisonous causes of suffering. If it helps, you can even put your hand palm over the center of your chest at heart level. That's compassion, wishing for freedom from suffering for ourselves and others. And kindness is wishing for well-being for ourselves and others, in body and mind. So from your heart of kindness, generate the wish that all beings, ourselves included, have this kind of happiness. I think of well-being, which includes peace and security, freedom from fear, rather than just happiness, a really feeling of well-being, a deeper happiness. Traditionally, we can alternate this on the breathing, and as we breathe in, imagine that we're, to some extent, freeing beings from some of that suffering, at least extending the wish that we could draw that suffering out of them. And as we breathe out, that we're sending them this well-being that can fill them with well-being instead of suffering. So it's again filling and emptying in a slightly different way. Breathing in and emptying them of their suffering and ourselves. Breathing out and filling them with well-being, including ourselves. It feels like relief to be free from that suffering. It feels good to be giving that well-being. Now for the last phase today, think of something that has created emotional upheaval for yourself. Heart pounding, tension, anger, jealousy, or feeling down, sadness, feeling insufficient, poverty mentality, feeling needing something that you haven't been able to get, or just wanting to run and hide, head in the sand. Any of those feelings. And the practice is think of the millions of others who are feeling the same way right now. So the first step is we're not alone. We share these feelings with millions of others. And the second step is, as much as we'd like to be free of these feelings, so would they. So as we breathe in, we're drawing out these feelings from ourselves and them. And breathe out and replacing them with a feeling of peace. Peace of mind. Instead of anger, patience. Instead of jealousy, equality. Instead of poverty, richness. Instead of hiding, courage. As we do that for others as well as ourselves, it ventilates, liberates, and opens our awareness so we're not caught so much by these emotions. And as the gong fades, let go of what you're imagining and feeling. Breathe out and drop back down into your core. Just rest in present mindfulness of body and breathing for a few breaths. And that concludes the session for today. So thank you for your participation. And in keeping with the work of compassion for others and extending kindness to others, traditionally we end these sessions with an expression of our intention to carry through the day of mindfulness, kindness, and compassion. So you can repeat after me or put in your own words. May the practice I've just done be of benefit to others as well as myself. And if you're feeling particularly generous, may it be of even more benefit to others than to myself. So thank you for your kind attention and your practice today in mindfulness, awareness, and compassion.